Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is Christian here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. So today we are doing Friday's foundation fix, and today we are going to be testing out the new Laura Geller Cover Lock Cream Foundation. I first saw this foundation on Trend Mood's Instagram, and I thought that it would be something very interesting. It claimed to be full coverage. It claimed to be able to cover tattoos and any discoloration and just really give you a nice, beautiful, even skin tone, and it was just going to be a really nice full coverage foundation. You guys know I love full coverage foundations, but full coverage foundations can be a little bit tricky for me because I do have more of dry, sensitive skin, so foundations are a little bit tougher for me, and I am a little bit pickier on foundations because I definitely have a lot more to cover. I definitely have dry patches on my skin. Lately I have been producing a little bit more oil, but still dry patches nonetheless. So far we are not having any luck with my Friday's foundation fixes for 2017. Hopefully this one will be a little bit better. We'll definitely have to wait and see. So if you guys do like these types of videos, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I do have a huge giveaway going on my channel right now. It is for my 1-year anniversary here on YouTube, and that is running for a couple of more weeks. So if you're watching this for the first time and you want the chance to win some really cool makeup prizes, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you are not new to my channel, welcome back, you guys. Thank you for joining me today. And yes, let's go ahead and test out this foundation and see what I think. Alright guys, so today we're going to try out the new Laura Geller Cover Lock Cream Foundation. So Laura Geller, to my knowledge, is sold at Nordstrom's. It is also sold at Ulta, and I think that's it. I don't know. There might be a couple of other places, but I know that those are two places that you can purchase it for sure. So this is a brand new foundation. I want to say it came out a couple of weeks ago. Launched on Nordstrom's website first, and then it came out on Ulta's website a couple of days later. I did purchase mine from Ulta's website, and I did order it online because from what I could see, it was not available in stores at that time, and I ordered mine about 2 weeks ago. So I did pick mine up in the shade Light. It does retail for $38, and it does come with 9 other shades. 1 fluid ounce. I'm not sure if I already said that. And basically this is supposed to be a full coverage foundation. Basically what it says create the smooth and even complexions you crave with true full coverage. They're going in. They're just flat out claiming that this is full coverage 100% out of the gate. It's no need to build, like full on coverage, which is I'm all the way here for that. It says that this vitamin enriched formula effortlessly blends away discoloration, scars, and even tattoos. So that's very interesting. I don't have any tattoos to test that out with, but we're just gonna have to, you know, take its word for it. And it says while locking out aging pollutants and environmental stressors for all day flawless coverage. I mean, come on now, who doesn't want all day flawless coverage? I feel like this is like really small. I just feel like, does this look like 1 ounce of product to you? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it is. It probably is. Of course it is. They said it is. So of course it's going to be 1 ounce. Let's see. This foundation does not clarify, at least on the website or on the box. I checked Nordstrom's website and Ulta's website. It doesn't specify whether it's matte, satin, or dewy. I'm going to go ahead and assume it's not dewy. More than likely this is going to be a matte foundation if I had to guess, and because it is a cream foundation, more than likely it's going to be pretty thick. Today is a really good day to test out a foundation like this, which is why I decided to go ahead and go with this one, because I do have some extra. My redness today is acting up a little bit, like it's pretty intense today. So if this claims to cover tattoos, I feel like this should be able to definitely cover out the redness that I have going on my skin. So I have primed like always. I went in with my Laura Geller. I went in with the Laura Geller Hydrating Primer, which is my holy grail. I went in with the Pores No More by Dr. Brandt, which I had not used in a while. And then just kind of like as a moisturizer or first step, I went in with the Bobbi Brown Enriched Face Base. This stuff is good. So like always, I'm going to do half of my face with the Beauty Blender, half of my face with a brush. I'm going to apply any color corrector, any concealer, anything, because we're definitely going to see the consistency of this foundation on its own. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in, and we're going to start trying this bad boy out. And if you guys can definitely see, the camera probably is making it look a little softer than it actually is. I definitely have a lot of redness happening today, so I'm super excited to try this. So like I said, it comes in 9 shades. The shades range from porcelain to deep, and I did go with the shade Light. It is definitely thick. It is not as thick as I was expecting it to be. I don't think it is as thick as, say, for example, the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. It does feel a little bit more creamier than that one, but it is thick. Like, this is not running. This is not going anywhere. If you don't like fuller coverage foundations, if you don't like foundations that are a little bit on the thicker side, I can tell you right off the gate, this is not going to be for you. Okay, so basically the way it says to apply this foundation is it says apply starting in the center and then work your way out. You can use a sponge, fingers, or a brush. So I'm not really one for fingers, so I'm just going to apply a little bit or a lot. The light definitely has a pretty strong yellow undertone. Yeah, definitely is full coverage. Surprisingly, it's pretty easy to blend. Sometimes thicker foundations are definitely a little bit harder to blend, but you guys can already see most of the redness is gone just with that one little layer. So it definitely is a full coverage. So basically all it says for light, like as far as the color description, is that light skin is on the lighter end of the medium spectrum. Okay. I feel like the tone of this foundation is a little off for me. At first it was looking a little yellow when I first applied it. Now I feel like it has a little bit of pink in it. It's almost sitting on my skin like a powder. So that's where we're at. This is definitely full coverage. And this is definitely, you know that you're wearing makeup when you put on a foundation like this. I feel like there's not enough shade ranges for people to find. I legitimately look like I have two faces. Like that's crazy. Like that's intense. Of course, with only 9 shades, you might be able to find your color match, but maybe not your correct undertone. And I feel like that's what's kind of happening to me right now. 9 shades is definitely not enough. It's definitely not a full range. It definitely leaves a lot of people out. The shade range, it says it's from porcelain to deep. So I feel like they cover the skin tones, but I feel like it's obviously, of course, not going to cover the undertones. So, because this definitely is not the right shade. At first on my skin, like I said, I thought it was yellow, but now that I'm looking at it again, this definitely has a pinker undertone. And I don't really love pink undertones. And like, that's what I used to get because I have redness on my face. And my face feels like it has a little bit of pink, but my body definitely has some yellow to it as well. So I've been preferring a little bit more of neutral undertones because I feel like it cancels out the yellow and the pink a little bit better for me. I feel like the brush definitely goes a lot farther. I applied a lot less product with the brush and I feel like we're like already practically done. So I feel like the coverage goes a little bit further with the brush, which I mean, that's usually accurate. Like, I like the way that the Beauty Blender side looks a little bit better. I did not apply nearly as much foundation on this side. It went a little bit further on this side as far as spreading out than it did with the Beauty Blender. And this foundation is already settling into fine lines. And it hasn't even been on my face for like 5 minutes. So definitely it's already settling. I definitely agree with the claim of it being full coverage. It's already, you can see it around my nose. And I did a lot of skin prep for this foundation, you guys, like a lot. I exfoliated, I did a hydrating mask, and I did a lot of skin prep because I had a feeling that this foundation was going to be a little bit thicker and a little bit, it'd have a little bit more coverage to it. And I didn't know if it was going to like cling to dry patches or anything like that. So Beauty Blender applied it a little bit better. Now it pretty much looks exactly the same. I feel like it looks a little bit heavier around the nose on the side that I did use with the brush versus the side that I used with the Beauty Blender. I do think that this is a foundation that is probably going to cake up on me throughout the day and definitely do some severe settling because it's already doing it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do really quickly is apply the rest of my makeup off of camera, and then I will be right back to kind of let you guys know how I'm feeling. Oh, and currently it is 11:56. I probably sat down and started filming at about 11:30 though. Alright guys, and I am back. It is now 1:26. I've had this foundation on for about an hour and a half. I did film a video with the first impressions, and I did recreate the eye look for a video. So this video will be up either before or after this video. I'm not entirely sure. So I've had this foundation on now for about an hour and a half, maybe a little longer. And as of right now, I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't like it. It is a huge offender when it comes to settling into the fine lines. All foundations settle into my fine lines. I have very dominant fine lines, like smile lines, and I do have a very dominant wrinkle on my forehead, so everything settles in there. Some things settle really bad, some things settle after hours of wear, and then like this foundation, within the first 10 minutes it did settle in. and I tried to fix it and there was just no going back. So it looks very dry and very cakey around my nose as well, and those are my largest pet peeves when it comes to foundations. I will say that it did have a tacky finish, so it did not dry completely down. It did not, it is definitely a foundation that you want to set, but if you have a little bit more of dry skin, that can be a little bit iffy, because the more powder you layer on top of a foundation that is already full coverage and that's already giving you a little bit of a dry feel, then kind of setting it kind of makes it a little bit worse for you. So I basically just set the outer perimeters of my face where I was going to apply bronzer, highlight, contour. I've set my forehead and my nose. I definitely stayed away from setting my cheek area. You can already see how it's just really sinking in and looking really, really dry. I thought that trying to set it would make it that much worse. It is a matte foundation, but it's not like a flat matte. There definitely is a little bit of life to it. I wouldn't say, I guess I would go more like satin matte. It's not a full matte in my opinion, or at least on my skin. It is accentuating my pores. It is drying up a lot around my mouth. So far in 2017, you guys, I feel like I am not having any luck with these foundation Fridays. So I'm going to kind of zoom you guys in. I'm going to wear this foundation for a couple more hours, and then I will come back on and let you guys know my final thoughts. So far, not so good. Here we are a little bit closer up. Hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about with the fine lines around my mouth. It just, in some areas, I feel like it just looks a little bit patchier than others. It definitely settled into my fine line on my forehead really, really easily. You can definitely really see my pores, and it looks very cakey around my nose. Like I mentioned earlier, you guys, when I know that I'm going to be wearing a full coverage foundation or something that might be a little bit maybe matte, and this foundation really isn't like fully matte, I do a lot of skin prep. I exfoliate. I make sure I put on a nice oil. I make sure I let everything sink in. I put on hydrating primers, just hydration everywhere, hydration overload, just to make sure that no dry patches, no dry skin is left on my face before I go in with thicker coverage foundations. And I did do that. I did exfoliate last night, and I did do a light exfoliation this morning with the Tarte exfoliating little sticky thing, which I actually really like. That's neither here nor there. So far I'm not loving this foundation. I will see you guys in a couple of hours, and I will let you know how I'm feeling after a few more hours of wear. Alright guys, and I am back. It is currently around 8:30, so I've had this foundation on for about 7.5, 8 hours, and some very interesting things have happened. I look so oily, you guys, like so oily. I am not oily enough of a person to look this oily. Like seriously, most nights when I take my foundation off and go in for skin prep, I have dry patches, flaky dry patches all over my face. I am not even kidding. So for me to be this oily, I find it very, very interesting. So especially in my T-zone, in my cheeks, I'm not sure. Don't mind my eye makeup, you guys. I went to a movie, I shed a couple of tears, so my eye makeup has run a little bit. But even the foundation is coming off, like in my nose, like it's kind of disappearing. Around the chin, it's kind of caking up. It doesn't look the best, you guys. I don't know what is going on with me in foundations this month, because so far none of the foundations that I have tried out this month I have liked. I guess it's going to be a tough year. Last year I had a lot of luck trying out foundations. The majority of the ones I tried out I liked. Or I really, really liked. But I'm going to zoom you guys in so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like, I don't even know how foundation has disappeared around my nose. It's just interesting. And the fine lines, oh my gosh, the fine lines around my mouth look terrible. It only got worse as the day went on. So let me zoom you guys in so you can see what I'm talking about. So if you guys see right here, I don't know if you can see, but the foundation is just like completely missing. Like, where did it go? I have no idea. And the fine lines, you can just kind of see how it just looks so oily, and it's like, it's not even that the makeup even settled. It just looks like it just like disappeared, and it's not good. I still stand by the claims of the coverage. The coverage is really nice. I bit my tongue, you guys, I'm sorry, and it really hurts, so it's hard for me to talk. The coverage is still really nice. All of the redness has disappeared from my skin. It kind of had settled into my forehead this morning, but it's not so bad now. But around my mouth, it looks terrible. It's like I look oily in some places, and then I look unbelievably dry in others. So it's just really interesting how this foundation worked. I didn't like it when I put it on. I will say when I got into my car and looked in natural light, I liked it a little bit better. I was kind of like, okay, this is not so bad. Like everything looked like nice. It's one of those foundations that from back here, you're looking good, but from up here, it's just it's a hot mess. I honestly don't know who would benefit from this particular foundation. I really, really don't, because like I have a lot of oil like right in here, but then I also look very dry on the perimeter of my face. So that would lead me to believe that somebody with oily skin would just produce a lot of oil, and then and it would just make them look kind of like, you know, a grease ball, kind of how I'm looking. Or if you have very dry skin, it could cling to your dry patches like it's kind of doing to mine. So I don't really know who this would be good for. As far as the full coverage, absolutely. If you do have, you know, maybe acne prone skin or a lot of redness to your skin, but other than that, it's kind of for all you have pretty normal skin, I think you might be okay. Or even if you have, maybe if you have slight dry skin, but you don't have like intense pores, it might be okay for you, because I'm noticing that's where I look the most oily is right here where my pores, it's just making my pores look so big. On a scale of 1 to 5, I would give this foundation like a 2.5. I just don't like the way it's sitting on my face, you guys. So unfortunately, it was a fail. Look that nice on the skin, or at least on my skin. I like a full coverage foundation, you guys, but I tend to like, and I don't mind cream foundations, but I mean, I'm starting to notice that liquid foundation, Smashbox Studio Skin 15-hour wear, more liquid type foundations tend to look a little bit better on my skin. Some cream foundations work okay, like the Cover FX cream foundation, I forget what that one's called. That one does really well on my skin. I have a couple of MAC foundations that are okay on my skin. I just don't love MAC foundations as far as creams are concerned. So I'm not really sure what my skin prefers better, but I'm starting to think that it's more of like liquid foundations with a little bit of a higher coverage. Guys, that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you don't mind, go ahead and check out a couple of my other videos. I will link some right here for you. And if you enjoy foundation fixes, then go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.